Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Thursday evening, January 2, 2025. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season, that's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you guys utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located in the comment section, as well as the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because you know that the videos over here with the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below letting me know what that's been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so we're going to be looking at what the next 7 days have in store for us according to the latest Euro model that came out today at 3:30 p.m. as well as the latest GFS model that came out an hour ago. As usual, we're going to be focusing our attention on the timestamp at the top as we go to the next 168 hours, which stands for 7 days. And we're going to be focusing our attention on Jamaica as we look for this that we see on the key on the right. The reds, the oranges, the yellows, the greens that represents inches of rainfall. So we can see that as we head into Friday, there's definitely going to be even more rainfall than what we got today for sure. And we can see it especially during the afternoon, not only affecting northern Jamaica, but even southern parishes for sure. Heading into Saturday, we see that there's going to be some amount of rainfall affecting sections of some northern parishes, maybe even spilling into sections of some southern parishes again during the afternoon. Sunday, still having some rainfall across northeastern Jamaica for sure. Monday, we see more whites than greens that represent rainfall, so definitely going to be even more on the sunny side for sure on Monday as we start the work week, as we start the back to school. Tuesday, we see the moisture to the south of us, definitely more whites that represent less rainfall across the island, just like on Monday. And then maybe some isolated afternoon rainfall on Tuesday. Wednesday, definitely less rainfall for sure. Thursday, we're going to be stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours. So this is valid for Thursday, January 9, and we see that across Jamaica we don't have much of anything taking place. We have some moisture across the Western Gulf, we have some moisture across the Southwestern Caribbean, we have some moisture across the Eastern Caribbean as well as off the east coast of the United States. Let us match it to what the latest GFS supercomputer models are showing. So we can see that as we head into Friday, we have some amount of rainfall, especially across northeastern parishes, and then during the afternoon across sections of not only northeastern Jamaica but southern Jamaica too. We also see a lot of moisture across the southwestern Caribbean, into Central America for sure. Heading into Saturday, we still see some moisture affecting northeastern Jamaica. Sunday, something similar. Monday, definitely just like what we saw on the Euro model, more whites that represent fair weather. Tuesday, we see that there's gonna be some afternoon rainfall on Tuesday for sure. Wednesday, less rainfall than what we got on Tuesday. Thursday, definitely some isolated showers for northern Jamaica, and we're gonna be stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours, just like what we did on the Euro. Let us see if we can find some similarities or some differences. So clearly we can see that yes, southwestern portion of the Caribbean are going to be getting on some moisture. We're talking about Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, and we're also seeing that moisture across the Western Gulf. Even although the Euro has it more across the western and southwestern portion of the Gulf, the GFS has it across the western and the northwestern portion of the Gulf. We can also see that moisture across the waters to the west of the Windward and Leeward Islands. Some of it affecting portion of the Leeward Islands for sure. We'll see exactly what unfolds. But in terms of the accumulated precipitation forecast for the next 7 days, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until Thursday, January 9. And we can see that the most in the way of rainfall should be plaguing those areas that are shaded in the dark reds, into the purples, into the pinks, into the peach colors that we see on the key on the right. That represents a 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6, all the way up to 8 inches of rainfall. And we're still seeing that the Windward Islands, excuse me, gonna be getting in on some of that rainfall for sure. So too sections of northeastern South America, sections of French Guyana, Suriname Guyana. As a matter of fact, let's scroll down a bit on both maps so that we can see the extent of the rainfall that's expected, because we don't see much rain across the northern portion of the basin. So let's focus our attention more so on the southern portion of the basin. All right, there we go. So we can have a better picture now. Clearly the GFS model right here showing a lot of rainfall expected for the Yucatan, Belize, northern Honduras, eastern Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, sections of Colombia into southern Venezuela, sections of Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana, all the way back up into Trinidad and Tobago, Grenada, section of Barbados, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, all the way over into right here across the ABC Island, northern Venezuela, southern and western Venezuela getting in on some of the action, going all the way back to Central America. And the thing is, if we look back at the Euro model, we're basically seeing these very areas having the most in the way of rainfall as well. And we know that when we look at both models and we see some agreement, the chances of it actually happening are higher. So I hope that they're prepared for some amount of isolated flash flooding in those areas. And if we take a closer look at our country, Jamaica, we can see that not much has changed. We see that the most rainfall should still be plaguing northern or northeastern parishes for sure. You know, we're talking about St. James, Trelawney in the blues. And then we're starting to get up into the colors, the greens into the yellows and the oranges and to the pinks and the reds. That represents anywhere from 15 all the way up to 100 millimeters of rainfall. And the Euro has it right in here, showing up to 118 millimeters, especially across Portland. Sections of St. Mary getting in on the mix, so too St. Anne. Some of this spilling into section of St. Andrew and St. Thomas. We'll see exactly what unfolds. Either way, the GFS is showing something similar, but not 100%, like what the Euro was showing. Yes, we see the rainfall across St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, sections of St. Mary, Portland. Portland receiving the most again, all the way up to this looks a bit like 63 millimeters. Some of this rainfall in the greens spilling into section of St. Andrew as well as St. Thomas. We will see exactly what unfolds over the next 7 days, and whatever occurs, I'll definitely be here to keep you posted. If we take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see this blue spike line right here stretching all the way from northern portions of North Atlantic all the way down across the Bahamas into the western portions of Cuba. And we can see to the east of that we have a ridge of high pressure. And we know the ridges of high pressure are responsible for sending all of the easterly trade winds across the region. And we can see a trough right here as represented by the broken orange lines, definitely being induced by what was that frontal system we highlighted yesterday. So it's definitely transformed now. We see another front right here to the west of that trough. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can make out all of these entities. First of all, we can make out that low level flow of the low to mid level clouds being pushed or steered from east west, all courtesy of the ridge of high pressure to the north. We can see the clouds associated with that frontal system stretching all the way into the Bahamas as well as Cuba. We can also see the clouds associated with the trough that has been induced, definitely transformed from that frontal system. And we see the huge spinning associated with that area of low pressure still up there spinning away. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean today later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Thursday, January 2, 2025. It was stated that rain was in the forecast for parts of some northern or northeastern parishes on Thursday afternoon. And we know northeastern parishes, we're talking about especially Portland, spilling into sections of St. Mary, St. Anne for sure. And if you remember yesterday's video, we also highlighted that the mere fact that the air is going to be piling up across sections of southern Jamaica, that's where we would have least amount of winds. We could have had some isolated showers on the south coast as well. And we know southern parishes, we're talking about Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Thomas. And what ended up happening? At around, excuse me, 12:01 p.m., the visible satellite image was posted here on our Twitter page. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that these posts aren't only made here on our Twitter page, Weather Jamaica, but they're also made on our Instagram page, weather.jamaica, on our TikTok page, Weather Jamaica, and on our Facebook page, Weather Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So we can see the visible satellite image that was posted 1 minute past midday. And we can definitely make out the clouds bring overcast skies, if not some isolated showers, especially to sections of Portland, section of St. Mary, some of this spilling into section of St. Anne, maybe even spilling into section of St. Andrew and St. Thomas. We also see a lot of clouds to the south of the island at that time as well. And then at around 4:45 p.m., the visible satellite images were posted, and they highlighted that we're indeed getting on some cloud cover, as well as some possible isolated showers across sections of St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland, St. Andrew, St. Elizabeth, Southern Clarendon as well. If we look closely, we can see that St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland definitely got in on some cloud cover. Some clouds definitely brought some isolated showers, especially across Southern Clarendon. We definitely matched that to the latest Cuban Doppler radar images. And we also saw some clouds across sections of St. Elizabeth too. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica, showing the loop going all the way to sunset, and we're starting to lose the daylight, we can see that moist northeasterly flow, that relief rainfall that we've been talking about for the longest while, that the northeast usually gets. And that's basically it. Even while the day was done, we're still getting some isolated showers across those spots. As a matter of fact, just checked outside in St. Thomas in my area, getting in on some isolated showers as we speak. So some of these clouds definitely plaguing us too. We can see the infrared satellite images showing that we're not making out excuse me, most of what we saw on the visible, but we can definitely make out those high cirrus clouds being pushed out from southwest to northeast for sure. If we take a look at the live camera from See Jamaica's YouTube channel, showing the flat bridge at around 3:05 p.m. today, it showed that we're indeed getting in on some fair weather, some windy conditions as well, sunny conditions for sure. Not much in the way of bad weather, rainfall or anything like that. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you would like to see more live streams like this, flat bridge, halfway tree, crossroads, the panoramic city view, just subscribe to See Jamaica today so that you don't miss out, especially considering that they're planning on increasing the amount of cameras that they have in and around the island. If we take a look at the accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, this map isn't 100% to scale, but it does paint quite a picture of where we got the rainfall today across sections of Portland, sections of St. Anne, sections of St. Elizabeth, gotten on some of the isolated showers for sure. And we definitely have some comments here from some of our subscribers on our YouTube platform. We have Neil Davis 671 posting, stating, good evening to you too, sir. We're getting light rain in Stony Hill, St. Andrew. We also have Antonique Leachman 4504 hitting windy and cloudy in St. Catherine Old Harbor. And that indeed confirms what took place for today. And if we take a look at what's happening right now, let's reload this and look at the very latest still image. Well, can't really make out what's really happening. We see some blues that represent some high cirrus close to the south of us. We see a lot of grayish colors, whitish colors across the island. This is why we need a Doppler radar. Let us reload the Cuban Doppler radar imagery and see what's taking place right now. If it will show us the latest, will it? Nope, doesn't seem like it. seems to be stopping right here at 6:30 p.m. But the time is now 7:12 p.m. Either way, we're seeing some isolated showers across the waters to the south of Kingston, across sections of southern St. Catherine, to the southeast of Clarendon, out to sea to the south of us, to the south of St. Thomas. Maybe some of that is still taking place or meandering onshore as we speak, which explains some of the isolated showers that I'm experiencing in St. Thomas right now. Just reload the Guantanamo Bay Cuban Naval Radar imagery. Let's see what's happening. We can make out some isolated showers across Portland if you look closely at the beginning of the loop. Right there, you can also make out some isolated showers to the southwest of the western peninsula of Haiti. And if we take a look at the Cayman radar, let us reload these images that we have the very latest to show. So we can see right here that we have some isolated showers in the blues and greens to the south of Cuba. We can also see some rainfall to the south and to the west of the Cayman Islands. Not seeing much across western Jamaica right now at all. And if we take a look at the very latest from See Jamaica showing the Flatbridge cam, what's happening right now at 7:13 p.m. Don't see much happening. Definitely fair weather tonight, it seems, for the most part. Seeing people in their vehicles crossing the famous bridge, going about their business. Alright, let us take a look at the temperatures right now. It could be higher, it could be lower than this. Either way, these are estimates. We have 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston. And the forecast is that for 4 a.m. on Friday, temperature should dip down to about 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 23 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow. This map from the GFS is valid for 18th on Friday. When calculated, that's about 1 p.m. on Friday. And we can see Jamaica right here, for the most part, embedded in the gray color. Now we can see from the key on the right that represents 0, that's average temperatures for the month of January. We can also see a lot of blues to the north of us, and given the northeasterly flow, it's definitely logical to think that some of the cooler than average temperatures will seep into portion of the island, definitely cooling down the temperatures for sure. But most of us won't even feel that during the day. More than likely we're feeling it during the nighttime as well as during the early morning hours. So temperatures could definitely dip down, maybe a degree or two below average. I know the average temperature for the month of January is about 86.5 degrees Fahrenheit. And when that is converted to degrees Celsius that we use in Jamaica, that's about 30.2 degrees Celsius. So it should be receiving anywhere from maybe 28 all the way up to 30 degrees Celsius. At most could be lower than that, especially in the hilly or the mountainous areas, maybe Manchester, the Blue Mountains, you name it. That's the temperature forecast for Jamaica on Friday. And we're indeed grateful that according to the MyJPS Online's Twitter page, they don't have any maintenance outage advisory. They normally tell us when they're going to be doing some maintenance outages, and we know that when we have those outages in place, the temperatures can be ridiculous, especially considering that we don't have our fan or our AC to cool us down. So we're indeed grateful that for the rest of the week, it seems that they aren't going to be doing any outages at all. Either way, if tomorrow is a bit too hot for you, we have some tips right here to beat the heat. It states here, dress down, wear lightweight clothing and use sunscreen. Check on others, including children, elderly people with medical conditions, and pets. Be cool, stay indoors and make use of fans and air conditioners. Avoid alcohol and caffeine as they can make dehydration worse. Limit non-essential strenuous activity during the hottest parts of the day. And I cannot stress enough how important it is to always stay hydrated. Even if you're not thirsty, drink a lot of water throughout the day. Put away those sugar drinks as well. Drink water instead. Excuse me. Alright, taking a look at the dry air map. The dry air is represented by the yellows, the oranges, the reds, and the whites within those reds that we're seeing here at the bottom. Unfortunately, we don't have the Saharan dust map to show because, I don't know, it's glitching out. It's showing all the way from sometime in December and it's stopping today, if not yesterday. Don't have any dry air Saharan dust map to show, but clearly we can see the dry air that we know can limit rainfall stretching all the way across the main development region into portions of the Leeward Islands and the Central Caribbean, stretching all the way up into the Bahamas, the Gulf of Mexico, right here, lots of dry air. We have a lot of moist air across Central America, the Western Caribbean, into Jamaica, Northern South America, into the southern portion of the main development region right there. Lots and lots of moist air for it to be easier for, for us to get moisture across the region. If we take a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing 12 p.m. on Friday. And we can clearly see that there are going to be the least amount of waves or wave heights across the Gulf of Mexico, the light blues into the darker blues right here across the central to the Eastern Caribbean. We're talking about anywhere from 0.5 meter wave height all the way up to 1.5 meter wave heights for sure. If we check on Jamaica's north coast, 1.3 meter wave heights, the south coast 1.1 meter wave heights, and that's because of the winds that are expected. We can clearly see that across the Western Caribbean, more of a northeasterly flow is expected. Look at that through the windward passage between Cuba and Haiti, going all the way into Jamaica, northeasterly flow. Across the Eastern Caribbean, more of an northeasterly flow, and then curving southward into the southwestern Caribbean right here. And we can see the colors, the dull greens into the brighter shades of greens into the yellows. That represents anywhere from 5 to 10 to 15 all the way up to 20 knots, maybe even gusting to 25 knots, maybe right here to the south of Haiti, maybe across the Cayman Islands and the eastern Yucatan. But if we take a closer look at Jamaica regarding these winds, we can see you definitely have a northeasterly flow that's expected all across the island, and we can also see that the least amount of wind should be across southern Jamaica, so it could definitely feel warmer than average across those spots with the lack of wind. Excuse me. We can see that the winds are going to be up to 10 to 15 knots, 13, 14, south coast 3 knots, and that's that increases the chances for us to get some daytime heating convection across section of southern Jamaica. Maybe we can get some of that air from the northeast to be piling up from mid-level clouds into upper-level cumulonimbus clouds, and then we get some daytime heating rainfall across southern parishes. And with the upper-level winds coming in from the southwest, we could get in on maybe some convection bursts, and then those clouds being sheared off towards the northeast, like what we've been highlighting all of last year. And we need to talk a bit about the relief of rainfall, because trust me, the northeasterly flow is going to be causing more rainfall for Portland, St. Mary, St. Anna, especially Portland for sure. Excuse me, and I'm sure that the people of Portland are really tired of the rainfall. But why do they get so much rainfall? They get relief rainfall. It states here that when it comes to relief rainfall, mild moist air comes in from the sea and is forced to rise as it arrives at some hills. As it rises, temperature drops and the moisture in the air condenses to produce clouds and rain. As the rain crosses over the hills and starts to descend, the condensation stops and the rain stops. We call the drier side of the hills the rain shadow. So this is what we're talking about right here. So let's say the prevailing winds right here are coming in from the northeast. That's a northeasterly trade wind. More than likely, this side of the island is the north coast, and this side of the island is the south coast. So we're somewhere right here between, let's say, St. Mary and St. Catherine, and we're looking towards the east. So more than likely, we're going to be seeing the Blue Mountain Peak. Don't mind the snow on the hills or on the mountain tops. We know that it doesn't snow in Jamaica. But either way, this is what we're talking about. All of that air rises and then it forms clouds on the northern portion of the island. This is why the Portland side, St. Mary, this is why they get so much rainfall. And then the rain shadow side, the southern side, usually gets little to nothing, if not some isolated showers during the afternoon hours mainly. So this is what we're talking about when we talk about relief rainfall. So all of those persons who have been wondering, why does it rain so much in Portland? This is the reason why. Alright, so let us talk about what's going to be happening tomorrow. We're going to be getting in on even more rainfall for sure, especially across the northeast. As a matter of fact, from as early as tonight, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing 11 p.m. tonight. The time is now 7:22 p.m. So the Euro and the GFS models are showing that at 11 p.m. tonight, northern, especially northeastern parishes are going to be receiving rainfall. We see the blues represent rainfall across sections of Portland, maybe section of St. Mary, St. Trelawney, maybe even spilling into section of St. James according to the Euro. Not so much on the GFS to the Trelawney and St. James forecast, but definitely St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland, section of St. Thomas getting in on some of the action. We already got in on some of the action already. Just got some sprinkles outside. Outside is soaked. Taking a look at about 8 a.m. on Friday now. Not much change. It's still the same across northeastern Jamaica. St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland on the Euro and the GFS for sure. Skipping ahead now to about 12 noon. Do we see any changes? No, we don't. Still having some blues represent rainfall. Still plaguing St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland for sure. GFS even more robust with these dark blues. Then finally, by 4 p.m. on Friday, not only do we see the blues represent rainfall across northern parishes, we're starting to get into some of the action across southern Jamaica. Look how robust the GFS is more than the Euro. The Euro is showing some blues represent rainfall across the south. Maybe sections of St. Thomas, St. Andrew, maybe sections of Manchester, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland. But we see it even more robust on the GFS. Look at that. Southeastern Westmoreland, sections of St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Thomas are all shaded in for some amount of afternoon rainfall. Very interesting forecast. We will see exactly what unfolds, and I'll definitely be here to keep you posted during the afternoon. Don't think that it's going to be starting at 4. It's definitely going to be starting sooner than 4. Anytime after 12, it's definitely possible that we can get some rainfall across sections of some southern parishes. And we can see excuse me, that both accumulated precipitation forecast maps from the Euro and the GFS are in consensus that it's going to be raining somewhere across Jamaica within the next 24 hours. This map from the Euro and this map from the GFS show that the most rainfall should be plaguing northeastern parishes, just like what we saw. It makes sense. This is going to be falling all day from tonight. And we see the Euro showing up to at least 0.28 of an inch of rainfall across St. Anne, up to 0.29 of an inch of rainfall across St. Mary, up to 0.65 of an inch of rainfall across Portland, up to 0.25 of an inch of rainfall across Kingston, up to 0.23 of an inch of rainfall across St. Thomas. These are just estimates. The rainfall could definitely be more than this or less than this. GFS even more robust with that rainfall total across Portland, up to 1.03 inches. That could definitely cause some isolated flash flooding, if not some land slippages. So I hope the people of Portland are ready for that. Either way, we're in the month of January. To be honest, we're in we're getting into the peak of our dry season. The peak of our dry season is February, March. February is when the fire trucks are usually out, because they're putting out a lot of brush fires for sure. Either way, in January in Kingston, we usually receive up to 20 millimeters of rainfall. That's about close to an inch of rainfall. In Montego Bay for January, we receive up to 3 inches of rainfall. That's about 75 millimeters of rainfall. And I would like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives for the month of January or for the entire year, you can visit this website. That's www.weather-and-climate.com, and that website will show you that information. And you can use this nice graphic right here that converts rainfall from inches to millimeters that we receive on the rain gauge. We know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall, so you can do the math yourself. Alright, so that is it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So we can see a lot of moisture associated with that trough coming into portion of Trinidad and Tobago as we speak. Lots of shower and thunderstorm activity, maybe even some isolated flash flooding taking place over there. You can also see some clouds bringing some overcast skies and isolated thundershowers to sections of Suriname, French Guyana, sections of Venezuela, southern, eastern, and western Venezuela, sections of Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras getting in on some of the overcast skies and rainfall. So too sections of Guatemala, Belize, the Yucatan, You can also see some moisture across section of Cuba, the Bahamas associated with that frontal system. You can even see some moisture right here passing through the US and British Virgin Islands, heading into section of Puerto Rico too. And if we take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean, let's see what's happening down there right now. We can see some showers right here across the waters to the south of eastern Puerto Rico, some isolated showers across eastern Puerto Rico too, some rainfall to the east of Guadeloupe and Dominica. And if we take a look at about from 1:50 p.m., we can see that we're indeed getting on some isolated shores across portions of Puerto Rico and not much elsewhere. But if we take a look at the Barbados radar, look at this, we see some isolated shores coming into portion of Martinique, some rainfall to the east of St. Lucia, pushing in from the east northeast to the west southwest. You can also see that not much is affecting Barbados right now, maybe some isolated sprinkles to the north, but we see some to the east northeast coming in, so maybe some of that could affect them later on tonight into tomorrow. We can also see section of the Grenadines getting in on some of the action too. Excuse me. But look southward. Tobago is definitely getting it as we speak. Some moderate to heavy rainfall. Look at the greens into the yellows. They're getting nailed, and some of that is pushing towards northern Trinidad. You can also see eastern Trinidad getting in on some of the rainfall as well, going into southern and central Trinidad for sure. There's a lot of rainfall going to be taking place within the next 24 hours. And if you take a look at the weather view of Doppler radar images, we can see some rainfall passing through the ABC Islands. I'm sure they're grateful for that. You can also see some rainfall across section of the Yucatan, Guatemala's northern portion, so too Belize, section of northern Honduras, the waters to the east of Nicaragua, sections of Colombia, northwestern and northeastern Venezuela too. And if we take a look at where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Friday. And we can see that the most rainfall, as represented by the oranges into the red, represents close to 1 inch of rainfall, should be plaguing portions of Belize, sections of Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, sections of western, northern, and eastern Venezuela, the ABC Islands. Scrolling down, sections of Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago, so too sections of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Barbados. We can also see some rainfall in store for sections of eastern and northern Cuba, section of the southern Bahamas, the Turks and Caicos getting in on some of the action. Some isolated shores in store for sections of northeastern Puerto Rico and maybe sections of the Leeward Islands. And we see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus with this forecast. And we know that when they're in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.